Hello, friends. I'm Pastor Pitts Evans. Welcome to the Whole Word Podcast. Let's get right to the Word of God. Deuteronomy chapter 5. Moses summoned all Israel and said, "Hear, Israel, the decrees and laws I declare in your hearing today. Learn them and be sure to follow them. The Lord our God made a covenant with us at Horeb. It is not with our ancestors that the Lord made this covenant, but with us, with all of us who are alive here today. The Lord spoke to you face to face out of the fire on the mountain. At that time I stood between the Lord and you to declare the word of the Lord, because you were afraid of the fire and did not go up the mountain. And he said, I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of Egypt, out of the land of slavery. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make for yourself an image in the form of anything in heaven above, or on the earth beneath, or in the waters below. You shall not bow down to them or worship them. For I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, punishing the children for the sin of their parents to the third and fourth generations of those who hate me, but showing love to 1,000 generations of those who love me and keep my commandments. You shall not misuse the name of the Lord your God, for the Lord will not hold anyone guiltless who misuses his name. Observe the Sabbath day by keeping it holy, as the Lord your God has commanded you. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. On it you shall not do any work, neither you, nor your son or daughter, nor your male or female servant, nor your ox, your donkey, or any of your animals, nor any foreigner residing in your towns, so that your male and female servants may rest as you do. Remember that you were slaves in Egypt, and that the Lord your God brought you out of there with a mighty hand and an outstretched arm. Therefore the Lord your God has commanded you to observe the Sabbath day. Honor your father and mother, as the Lord your God has commanded you, so that you may live long, and that it may go well with you in the land the Lord your God is giving you. You shall not murder. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not give false testimony against your neighbor. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife. You shall not set your desire on your neighbor's house or land, his male or female servants, his ox or donkey, or anything that belongs to your neighbor. These are the commandments the Lord proclaimed in a loud voice to your whole assembly there on the mountain from out of the fire. And he added nothing more. Then he wrote them on 2 stone tablets and gave them to me. When you heard the voice out of the darkness, while the mountain was ablaze with fire, all of the leaders of your tribes and your elders came to me, and you said, The Lord our God has shown us his glory and his majesty, and we have heard his voice from the fire. Today we have seen that a person can live even if God speaks with them. But now why should we die? This great fire will consume us, and we will die if we hear the voice of the Lord our God any longer. For what mortal has ever heard the voice of the living God speaking out of fire as we have, and survived? Go near and listen to all that the Lord our God says. Then tell us whatever the Lord our God tells you. We will listen and we will obey. The Lord heard you when you spoke to me, and the Lord said to me, I have heard what this people said to you. Everything they said was good. Oh, that their hearts would be inclined to fear me, and keep all of my commands always, so that it might go well with them and their children forever. Go, tell them to return to their tents. But you stay here with me, so that I may give you all the commands, decrees, and laws you are to teach them to follow in the land that I'm giving them to possess. So be careful to do what the Lord your God has commanded you. Do not turn aside to the right or to the left. Walk in obedience to all that the Lord your God has commanded you, so that you may live and prosper and prolong your days in the land that you will possess. Now, chapter 5 contains the review of the 10 Commandments. Of course, they were first given in Exodus 20, but now we're going to review the 10 Commandments, and the recap of the 10 Commandments in the book is the reason it's named Deuteronomy, or Second Law. And so the Decalogue, the 10 Commandments, are repeated in verse 7 and following. But let's start in verse 1. Moses summoned all Israel and said, "Hear, Israel, the decrees and laws I declare in your hearing today. Learn them and be sure to follow them. The Lord our God made a covenant with us at Horeb. It was not with our ancestors that the Lord made this covenant, but with us, with all of us who are here alive today." And so Moses was saying that there remained eyewitnesses who had seen and heard the Lord personally, and they were there on the mountain, including Moses himself. In verse 4, the Lord spoke to you face to face out of the fire on the mountain. This reference to fire is often found in the Torah, especially in this chapter. There's a lot of mention of the Lord speaking from the fire. Verse 5, Moses said, "At that time I stood between the Lord and you to declare the word of the Lord, because you were afraid of the fire and did not go up to the mountain." And so the people sent Moses as their representative, essentially. And so Moses recounts the words of the Lord that he heard on the mountain. Verse 7, "You shall have no other gods before me," the first of the 10 commandments in this recap. Verse 8, "You shall not make for yourself an image in the form of anything in heaven above or earth beneath or the waters below." By the way, this is not talking about art. This is talking about an idol to worship. Obviously, there were images in the tabernacle itself of different things, from angels and pomegranates and trees and lions and so forth. The images were not the problem. The worship is the problem. Verse 11, "You shall not misuse the name of the Lord your God, for the Lord will not hold anyone guiltless who misuses his name." Verse 12, "Observe the Sabbath day by keeping it holy." Verse 16, "Honor your father and mother as the Lord your God has commanded you, so that you may live long and that it may go well with you in the land that the Lord your God is giving you." Verse 17, "You shall not murder. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not give false testimony, and you shall not covet." So this is the recap given of all 10 of the commandments. In verse 22, Moses says, "These are the commandments the Lord proclaimed in a loud voice to your whole assembly there on the mountain from out of the fire, the cloud, and the deep darkness." And he added nothing more. Then he wrote them on 2 stone tablets and gave them to me. When you heard the voice out of the darkness while the mountain was ablaze with fire, all of the leaders of your tribes and your elders came to me, and you said, "The Lord our God has shown us his glory and his majesty. We have heard his voice from the fire. Today we have seen that a person can live even if God speaks with them. But now, why should we die? This great fire will consume us, and we will die if we hear the voice of the Lord our God any longer. For what mortal has ever heard the voice of the living God speaking out of fire as we have, and survived? Moses, you go near and listen to all the Lord our God says. Then tell us whatever the Lord our God tells you, and we will listen and obey." And so they made Moses their agent. Essentially, the Lord wanted to reveal himself to all of them, collectively and individually. But they couldn't stand the revelation of the one true God in the way that he came. He came with power and with fire and with a very loud voice. And they said, "Moses, we're afraid. We'll stand back here. You go over there." And so the Lord condescended to allow that. He condescended to make them aware of his terrible majesty from a distance, but he would only speak through Moses. And their oath, if you will, to Moses and to the Lord was, "Whatever the Lord our God tells you, we will listen and obey." And so Moses gave a final word on continued obedience. He said, "Be careful to do what the Lord your God has commanded you. Do not turn aside to the left or the right. Walk in obedience to all that the Lord your God has commanded you, so that you may live and prosper and prolong your days in the land that you will possess." And so, Lord, we pray for obedience. Lord, you are indeed the God who spoke from the fire. You are the God who wrote on the 2 tablets of stone. You're the Lord whose voice was heard at Sinai and Mount Horeb. Lord, you spoke to a people then, and they were afraid. They said, "Moses, you go." Lord, may we be willing to come up the mountain ourselves. May each of us be willing to approach you in your terrible majesty, beholding you, how you reveal yourself. God, may you be a blaze in our hearts and our understanding, and may that majestic blaze of fire keep us from sin and keep us obedient. Keep us aware of your loving hand and keep us cognizant of the fact that you're God. You're the creator of all things. Lord, we acknowledge you, we love you, and we bow before you now. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you for listening to this episode of The Whole Word. It was brought to you by Whole Word Fellowship and the Northern Virginia House of Prayer. If you were encouraged, please share our podcast with your friends. We'd also appreciate it if you'd hit subscribe in your favorite podcast app and take a few moments to write a review. If you'd like more information on our church and our ministry, you can go to wholeword.net or wholewordpodcast.com for more information. Thank you again, and may the Lord Jesus bless you today and always.